Hello friends, now we are going to discuss today about Takshashila, the another ancient university of India. Generally, in earlier history of the world, four ancient universities were having importance and the one center of education was also having importance. Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila and Vallabhi, these four were universities of India in ancient period, and the Varanasi was the fifth educational center for study. Out of these four universities, three you have to study. First we discussed Nalanda. The second now I am going to discuss with you. But Vikramshila is not discussed here in your syllabus, so I am not discussing about it. In ancient university, the Takshashila is considered as equally important university as like Nalanda. Both had equal importance and both were having importance equally. If I want to discuss for the Takshashila, first I am describing its location. It was located at Rawalpindi of today's Pakistan. It was considered as Takshashila was considered as capital city of ancient Gandhara region, and at this place lots of the subjects were taken in study. 64 subjects, yes, exact number is 64 subjects, and many students were coming here to do the study, take the knowledge. For that purpose they were staying here in ashrama to do practice with their master or the guru. Jivak is considered to be disciple of Lord Buddha, learned Ayurveda here. Means, see, Nalanda is the place for study of, in today's words, arts and commerce, and somehow science too. But Takshashila was considered to learn purely science and commerce also. In your further topic you will study about the chemistry. At that time you will learn that Acharya Nagarjuna was chemistry scholar in Nalanda University. In the 5th chapter you will do the study. Means I want to refer this point only to explain that our universities were also equally important as like today's Oxford, Harvard and other universities. So don't try to misunderstand that our knowledge was not more important. It was more advanced in those days in all over the world. So the people from the other countries were coming to our universities. That is the matter of proud for us as the Indians. We have to understand. Okay, I was talking about Takshashila. That Jivak was the disciple of Lord Buddha and had taken lessons of Ayurveda here. the composer of Arthashastra, the book of economics, Chanakya, or the Vishnugupta, or the Kautilya had studied here. This is the second person. The another person's name I want to refer here. Prince of Varanasi had also taken knowledge here. Prasenjit, the king of Kaushal, had also studied here. So you understand the importance of the place. I have referred 4 people: Jivak, then Kautilya, then different prince of Varanasi as the city and the kingdom, and the Prasenjit, the 4th person I discussed. Okay, the 5th name I refer here: Panini, the expert of the knowledge of languages, who established Sanskrit grammar. His name was Panini. He wrote book Ashtadhyayi, was also studied here. He was also studying here. Means you have to understand the value of the Takshashila. It was the complete center of education, because 64 subjects were here given education to the students. This is not a small thing. Understand? Okay, one thing more. It is considered to be best education center in 7th century, and then the 7th century we have studied that the Yuan Sang came to the Nalanda. Means you understand that in the same time Nalanda and Takshashila both were exist, and both were great center of knowledge. Here the name Takshashila comes by name Taksha, son of Bharat. Also remember, was associated with Raghukula, the Ikshvaku Kula, from whom Lord Rama was coming. From that dynasty, Ikshvaku was the dynasty. In that dynasty, the Lord Rama had taken birth, and his brother Bharat, son of Bharat, Taksha, had established this city as capital city of Gandhar. Means the Gandhar was the region established by Bharat. That you have to understand. Okay, now one point more. We have already studied that people were staying there, students were staying there, taking education. But remember, nothing money was taken as the fees in those days from the students who were coming here. They were free to study with master of their choice, subjects of their interest, but the limit for one teacher, 20 students. They were wholeheartedly giving knowledge and education to their students. That is the great thing. We have to take the pride for that. Students from distant cities means cities from very far distance. People were coming there. The cities like Varanasi, Rajgruha, Mithila, and Ujjain. The people from these regions were likely visiting this education center. That is the main point we have to understand. So these all points are describing Takshashila as best center of higher education. Normally, it was the practice of Aryan lifestyle that to do study with the gurus, do education of Vedas. But when for the higher education any student want to come, he was coming to these centers. For which kind of the study? Let us take some information of subjects: Vedas, military science, Gajavidya. Gajavidya means knowledge to train, maintain and control elephant, because elephant was a big, not only animal, a big medium of war in those days. You will surprised to know that up to the war between Akbar and Rana Pratap, the battle of Haldighati, elephants were used from both the sides. Means elephants were taken in use in the war also. Okay, so everybody has to take the knowledge. So the Gaj Vidya was knowledge, subject of knowledge. Archery, study of grammar, because the Sanskrit was the subject to take the knowledge. Philosophy, warlore. Warlore means study about war or the study of science of war. Astronomy. Astronomy means celestial subjects or objects, celestial objects of the sky, planets. Study of that was done here. Astrology. Astrology is the subject about learn for effect of celestial object on human life, was also done here. So remember, in that way, Takshashila was a place for giving knowledge of different studies, right? Now, remember one thing. There was no competition. Of my explanation, you don't understand that there was competition between Nalanda and Takshashila. No. Both were considered as great centers of education. That I want to indicate, nothing more. Here, Chinese scholar Faiyan had come and visited the university in 5th century. So remember, Yuan Sang came to the Nalanda in 7th century. So before 200 years ago, Faiyan came to Takshashila. That is the point. So here you understand, India and China both are today's great, vast and fastest growing economy in the world. And in earlier history, both culture and civilization were exist together. So the existence of our culture and the China's culture is both from past history. So nobody can decide others' destiny in today's way. What the world is seeing about China and India's conflict. So it is not possible. Their people were coming here to take the knowledge. Our people were going there to give the knowledge. So it's a normal thing. Both countries have contributed in a large way in different inventions also. We cannot deny for that. Understand this. Okay. Now the second topic is I am going to discuss for Varanasi. Varanasi was famous as one of the places of pilgrimage during 7th century. It was also famous center for education. In our religious beliefs, it is said that Varanasi is considered as a Kashi. In our Hindu religious beliefs, Varanasi is considered as Kashi, and in present day it is also called as Banaras. Three names are used for the one center, Varanasi. It grew as the religious center, means center of religion during Aryan culture in Upanishadic period. Upanishadic period means the period in which Upanishads were written. Ajatashatru, king of Varanasi, was considered as great philosopher of Upanishadic age, and he supported in a great way to the Varanasi to develop as the center of education. Remember this. It is mentioned in Vyasa Samhita. Vyas Samhita. Samhita means compilation of knowledge, written by followers or the disciples of Vedavyasa, who had written the Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. Maharshi Vedavyas had his ashrama, center of education, in Varanasi. See, every Sanskrit, our rishis were having their own center of education, and the people were used to send their kids to take the knowledge with those scholars. Lord Buddha chose Varanasi as a suitable place for propagation of his preachings. Means Varanasi is educational center and religious center both. You remember this line. You cannot defy it. You cannot deny that. Potent philosopher Adi Shankaracharya. See, Adi Shankaracharya is considered as person who established Sanatan Vedic religion. Our Hindu religion is emergence from the Vedic religion, Sanatan Vedic religion. The word is used Vedic Dharma. Dharma means the religion. He came to Kashi. Kashi means Banaras or the Varanasi, to adapt new principles of Vedans. We have studied about Vedas in the earlier part of this chapter. The third person, so first I said about the Lord Buddha as the religious person. The second I said about Adi Shankaracharya as the religious. Now the third name I am saying, Vallabhacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They both are considered as pioneer of Pushti Marga. Pushti Marga is one sect or the way or the faith to do religious procession for bhakti of Lord Krishna, to do the prayers. The way of following some religious rituals to do prayers in different way, to consider Lord Krishna as a child in Pushti Marga, as like how we try to give our love and affection to our kids. In the same way, Lord Krishna is given attention by the follower of Pushti Marga, and that faith has been established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vallabhacharya ji. They both came here and their sect is considered to be Vaishnava sect. Means, see, in Hindus there are basic 2 or 3 divisions. First is follower of Lord Shiva, second is follower of Lord Krishna, third is follower of goddess Amba or Shakti, but ultimately it is a single one as a supreme power, and these are incarnations, avatar of superpower in different way, the supreme power in different way. In front of us, we follow them. Majority of the scholar families of Punjab also migrate to Kashi, and some families migrated to Kashmir. See what a coincidence. In Kashmir, some Punjabis have settled in Jammu today. There even today the language of speaking is Punjabi. And some have migrated to Kashi. Many other princes came for education in Varanasi. Monastery of Sarnath become famous center of education under the patronage of Emperor Ashoka. So remember, the center for the Buddhism, center for the Vaishnava sect, center for the Brahminical knowledge, in all the way, Varanasi is considered as center of knowledge, and we accept it. Is that clear, my friends? So here I discussed with you in elaborated manner for center of education Varanasi or Kashi or Banaras. Now the third point, Vallabhi. It is a matter of proud for us in Gujarat that it was great university in Gujarat in those days. And today, Vallabhi is small, just a village where only 2 times buses are coming, in the morning and in evening. That we have to understand how the history changed. The destiny of or the life of a person changed. Earlier, it was considered to be the great center of knowledge, and today is just a small village with no importance also. Okay. Vallabhi is considered to be great center of education in 7th century. Understand this. 7th century, the third time century come. Nalanda, Takshashila and Vallabhi. So you understand Simultaneously, three centers of study were exist in India for all over the world to remember. A significant contribution of Vansh dynasty in making Valabhi as the great center of education. Center of education is considered as a Vidya Dham. Vidya means knowledge. Dham means center. Center of knowledge in our language as Vidya Dham. Valabhi was center of Hinayan cult, means it is also associated with Buddhism, that I want to indicate. Valabhi was considered as center of Hinayan cult. Cult means faith. See, there are two main faiths, Hinayan and Mahayana, two different faiths. In middle of the 7th century, Buddhist scholar Sthirmati and Gunmati were leading principals, Acharya of Valabhi. The Brahmin students from different areas of Ganga and Yamuna were happily coming here to do the higher studies. Here also, Chinese traveler Itzing had come, and he noted in his account that Valabhi was a famous education center and competing with Nalanda, which was located in eastern part of India. So remember, Takshashila was in Pakistan, west from us as a Gujarat. Nalanda is in east from us, so it means Valabhi was in the center. In Nalanda, then Valabhi, then Takshashila, in that way, in sequence. Valabhi is considered as an capital, is a capital and an international port. Means by connecting Valabhi, the sea coast was also there. That is also matter of study for us. From 480 AD to 775 AD, the ruler of Valabhi belonged to Maitraka dynasty and patronized education and university as well. It is also taken in note that royal people of Maitraka dynasty actually they were not Buddhist, but they supported and patronage this institution, because as I said earlier that Valabhi was the center of Hinayan cult, means it was considered to be the Buddhist center, but even then Maitrakas had supported it, that I want to say. In 775 AD, when Arabians attacked, means you remember from 8th century the Muslims started to come here. That is the first point to take in your note. Means here also the Muslims came. Maitrakas were defeated by them and the university was closed. But remember, up to this period, the importance of the Valabhi was exist. The name of the famous scholars were written on the gate. The scholars, by showing their education, they were getting higher places in the royal court. Rajya Sabha means royal court. So, remember that the importance of the Valbi cannot be denied. Knowledge, worship, and particular system of education made the university famous in civilized world of period of 8th century in all over the world. Many students from India, other regions of India and other part of the world were happily coming here to take the knowledge in this university. So it is considered. So I want to say that Valbi could be considered as international education center in a real sense. Remember that. And many branches of knowledge were given information here, and many kings and landlords were maintaining this university. So it shows the loyalty of the people towards the knowledge, and the value of the knowledge was there in mind of the people, even in rich people also. So the India, in this way we can consider as India the center of education and knowledge of arts and science to be considered. So don't misunderstand India as only place. We have place in the world, but not only place, but as a center of knowledge for arts and commerce and science in our different universities were taught. Okay, my friends. So here I am concluding 4th chapter today. Okay.